Welcome back to Ssempa 360. We're talking about the life of Archbishop Janet Luwum. We're celebrating his life in a special way, and in fact, February 16th has been declared a public holiday beginning next year. It's good to know who the man behind the holiday is about. Julie, we're talking about your father, and in some ways, February 16th is not that's sort of around Dr. Martin Luther King's day. He too was killed. He too was a preacher. He too was in the struggle. Now, some people have said Janet Luwum was killed and Martin Luther King was killed because they were too bold, too confrontational. But cowards live longer. And they say if he had been just a quiet, cowardly, don't say anything, he would have lived longer. What do you think about people like that?
I believe in destiny. If it is your time, it is your time.
Wow.
That is what the Lord had destined for him. That is what I believe.
Aren't you being fatalistic?
No, I am not.
C'est la vie, what has happened has happened. Maybe,
I am not.
Maybe if he was a coward.
I'm glad he wasn't a coward.
And even as I'm saying it, I'm laughing at myself.
I'm glad he wasn't a coward.
He was not.
He was not a coward.
Those were very difficult days. I just read the part in which Idi Amin brought your father to a point of sensing that he posed a threat to him and wanted to eliminate him. But some people are not convinced that Idi Amin killed your father. They think that somebody else was jealous, got your father killed and had Idi Amin blamed for it. What do you think of that?
You know, for me, that is for God to judge. We do not know who killed him. We do not want to know. But God in his own time, he's probably already judged this person. That's why for us as a family, we have moved on. We hold no grudge against Amin or his family. We have made peace with that.
But that peace comes at a great price.
It does.
Reading about how he was humiliated. I mean, I was alive in those days. But I don't remember so much this public court at the Nile mansions where Idi Amin gathered all the cabinet officials and the government officials and the bishops and had this public humiliating accusation against your father. I mean, I can't for the life of me think of anything more dramatic than that. And he's taken to State House, beaten, tortured, humiliated, buried in a very humiliating manner. It was painful to you.
It was. Indeed it was.
Were you there the night that the soldiers came with
I was.
Were you there? Talk to me about, there was 2-3 other people who were accused of conspiracy to overthrow the government, and they were pushed into accusing your father. Tell me about that.
About that night? That night, I don't remember the time, but it was in the middle of the night. We had a knock on the door. No, before the knock. We had the dog bark furiously. So my father got out. Then we had a knock on the door, and somebody called out to him. He said, "Archbishop, it is me. Open. Open the door. It is me." So he knew the voice, he knew the name. And of course, by the time somebody is coming to knock at your door at that time of the night, being the man he is, being the type of man he was, he knew this man is in some sort of problem. He opened the door. This man was beaten up, he had been tortured, he was bloodied, and as soon as he opened like this, they pushed him with the butt of their guns from the door up to the wall.
Oh my gosh.
Demanding to have the guns that he has in the house.
You're pushing your father?
Yes.
Not the other accused?
Not the other accused, because they use the accused to have access.
To open the door?
To open the door. This is what I suspect. So they pushed my father from the door to the end of the wall. Of course, we were kids. I wasn't so young, but I was a child. We were hiding. We could see it happening. So he told them, I have no guns in my house. What are you talking about? All I have, my gun, is the Bible. If you think I have guns in the house, you're free to check. So they went, checked everywhere. Everywhere. In the house, in the compound, everywhere. In the ceilings, everything. The whole house was scattered with things. When they found nothing, they left. So that is what happened.
But it set into motion, even though no guns were found, no smoking gun was found. Your father seemed to have been destined for destruction. It's talked about a trip, an invite to State House in Entebbe,
Yes,
and
yes.
your mother insisted that you had to go.
Yes.
In retrospect, he says that he believed that. Talk about that trip.
He believes that if, even my mother believes it, she told us that. She said if she had not gone with him, that was the day he would have been killed. But because she was there, she became an obstacle. So it gave him a few more days to live.
Wow. Do you think that if this conflict of an incensed Idi Amin, he's worried about your father? The theory is that he saw your dad as a political threat, especially as the centenary was coming on. Do you think your father had any political ambition of partnering with those who wanted to overthrow Idi Amin at any time? That some people throw that as an idea that maybe it really was that there was a conspiracy.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what I believe. I believe my father, as a church leader, had a duty to protect the people. He had a duty to speak out for the voiceless. So that is, I believe that's what he was doing. And Amin did not like it because there were so many voiceless people at that time. I saw the number of people, the number of women and men who used to come to the house because their wives or their children or their sons have been arrested and they needed help. I used to see them come. And my father would pick the phone and call the president. Sometimes they are helped. Sometimes it's too late. So he had a duty. I don't think it had to do with politics. He had a duty as a church leader to stand up for the people.
Could that issue have been handled a different way? Because they seem to be a confrontation. Could Idi Amin being this reactionary, I suspect somebody is trying to come for my power, your father is not involved in trying to overthrow, could it have been handled differently? Maybe a less confrontational approach. Maybe there was someone else who could have spoken on your father's behalf and said, look, because your father kept saying, I pray for Idi Amin, I pray for the government, I have no guns, I am not fighting you, even if you torture me, I'm praying for you. There's a one, maybe if there was
So where was the confrontation there? I don't see any confrontation there.
When the bishop got together the next day and they wrote this letter publicly that was read in the Canterbury, that was spread internationally, maybe that letter could have incensed Idi Amin much more. Maybe another strategy that was more diplomatic, less behind the scene could have worked.
I think Amin's mind was already made up to have my father eliminated. With or without that letter. I think his mind was already made up. Yeah.
The die had been cast.
Yes.
I want to talk to you about life after the death. The funeral of your father, the mock accident that were done, were you there for the burial?
We did not bury him. None of us was there.
What happened?
We were in Namirembe waiting for the body. A coffin was brought. A grave was dug at the cathedral. The body did not come. We were only told the body has been taken to Muchwini.
Why? Why do you think they never brought the body back?
Probably they didn't want us to see, to view the body, or the rest of the people to view the body, because then they would know the truth. Yeah.
Some of the writers who are with him in Nakasero, the State House Research Bureau, talk about what happens. One of them is Dungeons of Nakasero.
Apollo
Lawoko says, as our attention was drawn to incoming footsteps downstairs, Archbishop Janan Luwum suddenly emerged with State Research boys all over him. They punched, kicked, and pushed the Archbishop. State Research men continued hitting him with pistol butts as they stripped off his robes. They took off the golden cross he wore around his neck, slung it onto the floor, trampling angry on it with their army boots. The beating resumed after the Archbishop had been stripped down to his pants. Despite the heavy pain inflicted on him, Janan remained composed, and he was a great man. It's a big price to pay. You say you forgive these people.
You are pastor, Ssempa. You are pastor.
Yes, I am. I'm a pastor.
Yes.
Go ahead, so.
Forgiveness is not easy, but it has to be done. You leave the burden to them. The burden of guilt, you leave it to them. Yes.
I want to draw your attention to a couple of things. I want to talk about the next step, the lives that he impacted. And I got to see such a colorful thing. But I wanted to, there's a picture over here. I don't know if my cameraman can be able to bring this up. There's a picture over here. After killing the bishop, Idi Amin has the garb of gathering all the bishops, and he stands in an Islamic garb in the middle, all of them. Okay, you can see it over there. I don't know if you see it.
Yeah.
Now, and everybody is smiling or forced to smile. What a contrast. He's just killed the Archbishop of the Christians. Here he is with the picture of all the bishops. He's dressed in a Muslim garb, and he's having everybody to smile. I found this sadistic.
But he was a sadistic man.
I found it sadistic.
He was.
Here's everybody who is in grief being forced to put on a smile.
Yeah.
Like we're all happy that Idi Amin Dada is among us. So, and a lot of the people, including you, carry a lot of pain for a while. Does it help that you have a time of recognizing your father? A book being written about him? A memorial day being made about him? How does that help?
I'll go back to forgiveness. Once you forgive, you find peace. I would be in tears here now, but you can see my eyes are dry.
They're dry. I'm surprised.
Because we forgive. We forgive.
Stay with us on Ssempa 360. I'm talking to Mrs. Julie Luwum Adrico. By the way, I need to talk to you about Adrico. I also have to recognize the other man in your life. When we do come back, we'll talk about the lives that Archbishop the late impacted. These include the current Archbishop of York, Dr. Michael Sinton.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Michael is not Michael.
It's David.
John
Sentamo, and the many others whose lives were impacted. We'll be back after this on Ssempa 360. Be back.